She isn't in my class and she doesn't have my breeding, is a direct quote from CeCe in The Nanny. What's interesting is in this show, these two women are very different in their class and their aspirations and how they're treated. And this has interesting implications for power, gender, and class. So this commenter was confused at first. He talked about how much Fran was schmexualized in the show. And I was like, when is a woman not? And he pointed out that on the show, she especially is. And he even was like, well, she's the only woman. But CeCe's there, but there's an important distinction. CeCe is represented as a frigid bitch, and she clearly resents Nanny Fine, as she calls her. She never calls her first name, always reminding her of her status because Nanny Fine is very attractive. And she's jealous because CeCe wants Mr. Sheffield, and Mr. Sheffield clearly has a thing for Nanny Fine. Fran Fine. And there's a couple things that are interesting here. From the class perspective, women who are deemed of lower status, and this includes women who are not white as well, are sexualized a lot more. I've posted about here before on research that shows that people from working class backgrounds are more likely to be harassed at work. The women from working class backgrounds are especially sexually harassed more. And within that, women of color are sexually harassed more. The way I see this, and this is the only thing I'm saying here that I haven't drawn from a study, I perceive it as that a lot of people who are very high class, the elites, perceive these lower status workers as owning their bodies. And there's already the intersection of gender there that women are sexualized. And so working class women and women of color are especially projected on, well, I can do whatever I want because I own you. And in The Nanny, it's portrayed as like part of Fran's power because she doesn't have the status that CeCe has. But what bothers me the most about The Nanny and why I'm not a huge fan of Mr. Sheffield is that she's also assumed to be less competent than CeCe. Fran is portrayed as very emotionally intelligent with the kids in Mr. Sheffield, but a ditz, and that's unfortunate and stereotypical. And I've talked a lot about woman-on-woman bullying at work, and I think these two are an example of that. That CeCe is constantly bullying Fran for being dumb and lower in status and calling her Nanny Fine and trying to get Maxwell to fire her. And Fran is giving it back to her with saying, oh, nice outfit, I think my mother has it. And CeCe is constantly teased by Niles and others about how not sexy she is, but she is also trying to be less sexy to be taken seriously as a businesswoman. And that is a dress code line that women have to follow. If you're not perceived as attractive, then you get shit at work. But if you're too sexy, then you're a problem and you're not taken seriously. And this is part of the double bind that women experience at work, which is really a triple or a quadruple bind when you add class and race to the gender dynamics as well. Women from working class backgrounds and women of color are often sexualized more and then penalized for it professionally, but women who dress more conservatively might be seen as aloof, off-putting, frigid. And the enemy for both of those, all of those issues are systems of classism, patriarchy, etc., and not each other, but women often take it out on each other.